So the next matchup is Washington at Philly. This feels like this could be absolutely disgusting and very one-sided, or it could be a really good close matchup, and it feels like there's nothing in between. Is this one that you can hold your nose and kind of attack for DFS?
It's going to be tricky deciding how to attack this game because this game to me feels like one of the many kind of Eagles games last year where by the fourth quarter they just do not have to pass the ball. So if you're counting on a Eagles pass catcher, you want them to be able to get there early through explosive plays. So that's AJ Brown, that's Devonta Smith. We know we can count them. But Dallas Goedert's kind of been the odd man out at times. He had 7 targets in back-to-back games, but he's only turned in single-digit performances. So really, he's ended up becoming one of those touchdown-reliant tight ends that typically we take outside the first 10 rounds of redraft drafts or best ball drafts, not somebody who we feel like has bigger value than that and you feel confident taking in the 6th, 7th round. Last year, a lot of the time he got there on screens. At the minute, it seems like some of those screens are being divvied out to other players as well, and he's not getting as many. What small amounts of running back targets are happening is possibly being taken away from Dallas Goedert because we know that's the kind of area of the field where the running backs are going to catch the ball as well. So, yeah, I think people will possibly be a little bit scared to play DeAndre Swift, because Kenny Gainwell was healthy and he went back into his 2-minute drill. And it looked like he was playing in the second quarter and the fourth quarter when Swift was playing in the first and the third quarter predominantly. So I don't know if I'd start DeAndre Swift in DFS. I think if you need him, there's a league we're in, the one which I won this nice trophy behind me, where I'll be starting him because I need him to play. And I'm okay shooting for that upside in that lineup. But it's become clear that Rashard Penny's toast and his best hopes of being fantasy relevant this year, being traded or cut. They don't seem to want to put him in there and under any situation. On the Commanders side, Sam Howell could take 8 sacks this week. This Eagles defensive line is beastly. And now they're playing a player who leads the leagues in how many sacks he's taken at 19. And it's just baffling when you watch him. He has 51% accuracy over throws 0 to 10 yards down the field, which is last. But downfield on throws of 20 yards or more, he has 100% accuracy on those, which is like league best. So
But that's what he was in college. It was run the ball, RPOs, and deep shots, and that's what he is in the pros. And it's such a weird and unique skill set, but that's who he is.
But what we're also not getting, though, is we're not getting the rushing attempts. So we're not seeing that safe floor, which certain dual threat quarterbacks have, or even guys like Trevor Lawrence. We're not seeing those kind of 30, 40 yards a week, which help bolster his stats because he's only had 5 rush attempts so far. So that's been frustrating. The running back room, we were talking up Brian Robinson a couple of weeks ago, but I'm not sure I'd start him against the Eagles. I think he is still limited in his role in sort of come from behind pass narrative, stuff like
dependent
that.
player, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, Antonio Gibson isn't any better. He's had 9 targets in 3 games and 2 fumbles. So I don't want to start him. McLaurin is yet to finish as a top 24 wide receiver any week. Jahan Dotson's yet to finish as a top 45 wide receiver each week. So I would have worries about them in redraft where I've got to set a lineup. In DFS, I think I'd be okay stacking up a couple of the Eagles players and then running it back with one of McLaurin or Jahan Dotson. Dotson's down below 5K now, which does make, it's plenty appealing, but it's just not, it's not a matchup where I'm really excited to play anyone simply because the Philly defense can be so good when it wants to be.
Yeah, and for me, like Jared Smoller's got it perfectly. The tight ends on the Commanders commanding 29% of the team targets is a problem. No Washington player has commanded more than a 17.5% target share through 3 weeks, which is mind-blowing. We expected this to be a really concentrated offense, and it's just not. But to me, that's a reason to go out and buy Jahan Dotson in Dynasty because I believe in the talent, and I think that as the season progresses, we're going to see that target start to condense. And I think that McLaurin and Dotson are going to start to feast as the season goes on. Before we finish it, one more question from Savvy Edits in the chat saying, rather have Josh Palmer or Tank Dell rest of season?
I think I'd rather have Tank Dell. I think I'd rather shoot for his upside. I feel like we've seen enough from Josh Palmer that I think his upside is limited. But Tank Dell, I feel like we possibly haven't seen the ceiling for him just yet.
Yeah, this is easy for me. It's Tank Dell. I think that Josh Palmer, at best, is going to be like a flex play wide receiver 3. I think Tank Dell's ceiling is week to week wide receiver 2. So, yeah, I'm very excited. If you're liking what you're hearing, if you're liking what you're seeing, you want more of Tom's DFS content, there is a little join button just below. You can join, get in our Discord. We get Tom's weekly write-ups from as little as 99p, $1.25 a month. You get access to so much more, my dynasty content, my trade calculator, everything you could ever want for your fantasy world, your fantasy leagues, and so much more. As I said, click that join button below.